We've had quite the season thus far, filled with ups and downs and more than a few pleasant surprises. And now we have come to the end, the last 2 episodes before the long hiatus. I've been looking forward to seeing this for many weeks, ever since I first read the synopsis on Equestria Daily. The prospect of a new villain was intriguing, especially seeing how many of the previous villains have left quite the impact on the Brony fandom. Even more so because it seemed that any information on who or what this new villain would be was being kept from us through most every tidbit of spoilers given. So, did this season finale live up to the hype? Let's take a look. Right off the bat, we are given some interesting dialogue from the main 6. Twilight is feeling that her new role as a princess doesn't equate to all that much. And yeah, this is something that a lot of us have been wondering about all season long. We finally get to see some real weight added to her role as princess, and the writers are making this very apparent when all Twilight does is, as she says, smile and wave. It is also interesting to hear more about these new ponies that were introduced last week, the Duke and Duchess of Meritonia. Could this be another land of ponies that is not being ruled over by Celestia? Just how far does Equestria's influence reach? More fuel for the fanfic writers, I suppose. But then we come to a new song between all 4 of the princesses. I can only imagine just how many bronies were having their collective fan-squealing moment here. And Twilight is singing about the very questions that have been on a lot of our minds from the end of Season 3. She has a desire for purpose, wanting to make her own contribution. And while I don't think that the music and the lyrics are quite at the level of, say, This Day aria, I can really appreciate the writers focusing on this kind of conflict, bringing Twilight to greater heights in how she can shape the world around her. And thus we are finally shown who this new villain is. Lord T-Rex makes his first appearance since G1. Now I have to admit that I haven't watched any of the G1 series just yet, so I couldn't say how well this portrayal matches his first appearance. But the way they introduced him left a very good first impression. He was kept in the shadows beneath a cloak, and he was given a devious, even creepy voice. Then seeing him drain the magic from another pony as well as their cutie mark, and how he immediately grew afterwards. This makes for a very threatening presence, and rather effective at drawing in the audience. Bravo to the MLP staff for creating this much tension in such a short span of time. And unlike some of the other major villains in the series, we are given a backstory on him. Apparently both T-Rex and Scorpan of G1 existed long ago, and Scorpan was a friend to Starswirl the Bearded. I mean, if T-Rex is still alive after all this time, are we going to get a future appearance from Scorpan as well? In an entirely new land? Man, I have got to put together a first impressions video of Rescue at Midnight Castle later this month. All this backstory is really getting me curious about how well G1 holds up to today's show. So instead of sending Twilight after him, Celestia chooses Discord. And of course he's rubbing in the fact that he has been given this important assignment over Twilight. And I suppose I can understand why Celestia would not want to endanger Twilight if Discord would be able to track down this villain far easier. Although I do find it interesting that Discord encourages Twilight to figure out the mystery behind the locked chest in his own special way. He's still trying to subtly lead others in the right direction, just as he did in the season opener. Which leads into a very interesting confrontation between the current villain and the former villain. Apparently these two know each other. Even more fuel for the fanfic writers. And T-Rex attempts with subtlety himself manages to convince Discord to join his side. Which goes to show that even a master manipulator like Discord can be tempted to go back to his old ways, if you know just what to tempt him with. A rather intriguing turn of events for all of Equestria, and once again, I'm being drawn into the episode's conflict that was becoming all the more threatening. Naturally, we get a montage of all the previous episodes where each of the main 6 had to rediscover their elements. But really, the best part of these scenes is where Pinkie discovers how her key works by complete accident. But with one still missing, I could already tell that Discord would be the one to give Twilight a key later on. And as everything is being wrapped up, we see that T-Rex had become strong enough to draw power from Pegasi and Earth ponies as well. Discord is enjoying his newfound freedom, and the princesses decide to rid themselves of their magic so that T-Rex would be unable to steal it, with the hope of saving Equestria and the lands beyond from further harm. I gotta say, the way they have started this season finale has set the bar very high. I was enjoying the conflict they were setting up with Twilight. I was very impressed with how threatening this new villain is. We got some very intriguing bits of history that I really want to see the writers expand upon in future seasons, and I was even enjoying the little bits of comedy being thrown in here and there. This was a fantastic start to the season finale. But since this is a two-parter, I figured that I should split my thoughts between two videos, and given this enormously strong start, I have much to say about part 2. In the meantime though, I would like to hear your thoughts. Given what we have seen of Twilight throughout Season 4, what are your thoughts on how her role as a princess is being portrayed here? Now that we have seen the T-Rex of G4, how do you think it compares to the other villains we've been presented with thus far? And for those of you who have seen the G1 series, I would also like to hear your thoughts on how this T-Rex compares to his first appearance. Given this new information about ancient equestrian history, do you have any thoughts about Scorpan, Starswirl the Bearded, and how they defeated T-Rex the first time around? What are your favorite standout moments in this first episode of the season finale? I would like to hear your thoughts on Twilight's Kingdom, and I'd like everyone here to keep their comments focused on just this first episode, as I'll be releasing another video reviewing the second half of the finale soon enough. And given how much the story was drawing me in, I've got a lot to say with how it ended. I am DRWolf, and I look forward to hearing from you.
In your dreams.
Oh, I never dream of such things. Ask Princess Luna.